My name is Lee Garlick. I have had acid reflux actually in my whole life, and it runs in my family as well. It seems to be partly hereditary, and it's severely affected my life. It's particularly growing up, really. I think not being able to have the diet that I wanted to, restricting work. I used to work shift work, and it was a factor in me leaving my job, where I couldn't eat regularly, couldn't eat proper foods, if you like, but also restricts other aspects of normal day-to-day living. If I wanted to have a drink or a takeaway, I couldn't really do that because the acid reflux just wouldn't be worth it. My symptoms were severe acid reflux daily, and even when I'm sleeping. I found that it would be completely irregular. There'd be no pattern to it, which made it very, very hard for me to manage. I had an intense burning in my stomach up to my throat, and also it would even lead to me being sick at times, even to the point where having a pint of water would cause the reflux to come back again. When it was at its worst, I have been sick through acid reflux. In addition to my symptoms, I also found that it affects your personal life, because if you want to go out for a meal with your partner, it can affect what your choices are, and also you do pay a penalty for enjoying the food that you do like, and you can suffer through that massively through acid reflux, and I think that over time it wears you down, which can lead on to other issues. The treatments that I took started when I was younger, with Gaviscon and the likes, but unfortunately over time they became less effective. I went to the doctors and was advised to take lansoprazole, but that over time strangely again become less effective. I moved on to omeprazole, which did work for a short period of time, but then I had to increase my dosage. Then I was taking it more regularly, and it became again ineffective. And the problem that I had was I was still taking the omeprazole almost daily or every other day, and I was still being sick, even to the point where I would get severe acid reflux, take maybe even up to 40 milligrams of omeprazole, and it would still have no effect on my symptoms. The severe pain, the severe burning would still be daily, and I needed something a little bit more drastic. I found out about Reflux UK actually via a referral from my GP, and I had an initial consultation with Mr. Boyle, who put every worry that I had to rest, really. I did worry a little bit that I was going to be forever on these tablets, but after speaking with Mr. Boyle, I found that there are other alternatives that I hadn't considered, and it was more a case for me of weighing up the pros and cons of both sides. I considered the LINX system through recommendation by Mr. Boyle, not something that I was actually aware of out there to be available to me. I knew that surgery was an option, but it had a very, very limited timescale on how long it would work, and that was very important to me, that the LINX system in particular is so far proven that it's a permanent system. Also, the risks of surgery I had to consider, but for the amount of tablets that I was taking and the level of pain I was in by that point, it was almost a no-brainer for me, really. Mr. Boyle certainly put my mind at rest. After the consultation with Mr. Boyle, I actually found that the LINX system that he recommended would be one of the best options for me, purely because I had not really realised that this was available. I understood that surgery might have been available to me, but only with limited success, whereas the LINX system was a more permanent system, if I can call it that. The LINX system itself didn't really worry me in terms of the surgery side of things, because I understood that Mr. Ball is a professional in that field, and he did put my mind at ease in any of the professional side of things. It was more a psychological part for me, that it is surgery, what am I going to be like afterwards, anaesthetic, things like that, the normal worries of surgery. However, again, with the environment being so professional, I felt that it was a safe environment. The actual LINX system itself, I did some research on it following the consultation, and found that it would be a permanent solution to my problem. And by then my symptoms were so bad I couldn't bear them any longer. That was also in conjunction with the fact that my father had acid reflux for his whole life, and he suffered quite badly with it, and still does now even. It did lead to him having to have surgery of a different kind, and that, I think, spurred me on to bite the bullet and go for it. I came to the hospital, and everything was explained to me, and all I remember is going into the theatre and waking up in the room. As far as the surgery goes, that's all I remember, but the difference between before and after is unquantifiable, really. The surgery itself, I would say, took about 5 months to fully recover to the point where I would consider normal, but I was stepped through that by Mr. Boyle, and he of course explained everything thoroughly to me, in what I can expect and the best way to get the best out of my recovery. He did this by, I think most importantly, explaining to eat normally as quickly as possible. Eat normal foods, eat slowly, make sure you chew your food properly, and I think that was the best advice I could have been given. I tended to eat too quickly anyway, and I think that the surgery has forced me to slow down, chew my food properly, and maintain a better lifestyle, really. Symptoms-wise, I don't have any symptoms anymore. I know it's quite unbelievable considering how severe my symptoms were prior to surgery, with being sick and being constantly on tablets, but after surgery I haven't taken a single tablet. I haven't taken any Gaviscon since surgery, and it's been 7 or 8 months now. Also, though, I'm free to eat and drink whatever I like if I wanted to, although it's sort of, the surgery has forced me to live a healthier lifestyle purely because of my own choices. I can, if I want to, eat takeaway. I can, if I want to, drink alcohol or fizzy drinks, maybe even the odd biscuit, but I don't get any reflux as a punishment for that. I'm free to eat however I like, and I honestly can't thank Reflux UK and Mr. Boyle enough for what they did for me. In summary, I think surgery was definitely the right choice for me. Not something that I'd previously considered, but with the symptoms that I suffered with for most of my adult life, I think that it was a no-brainer for me. And the difference, not only in physically eating and the choices that I make in what food and drink that I can have, but also in my psychological aspect. I feel better, and I don't have to keep taking tablets, worrying about where my tablets are, worrying about running out of them. And also there's the underlining point for me that it massively reduces the risk of me having issues later on in life, which could be quite severe.